Yeah, we were on a mission, got my crew at my side. Scouring the shelves, we're down for the ride. Plastic warriors all lined up tight. From the comic shop counters to the late night site. It's the thrill of the hunt, gotta make it mine. I'm out here searching, yeah, taking my time. I'll flip every aisle, don't care what it takes. For that rare chase piece, I'm raising the stakes. Action Figure Alliance, yeah, we're bringing the noise. Rolling deep, rolling heavy with my action toys. Collectors unite, we're breaking the chains. Plastic in hand, we're playing no games. From legends to villains, yeah, I got them all. Stacked up high, every hero, every ball. Every line, every wave, from the past to the new. It's a bond, it's a crew, we're the real Toy Zoo. Tearing through the packaging, no hesitation. Each piece, a reminder of dedication. Don't call it a phase, this ain't just a trend. These figures got a history, they're my closest friends. Action Figure Alliance, we're speaking a claim. Battling for grails, don't care about fame. From the base of the shelves, we're making a stand. This is our world, you don't understand. Paint them, pose them, fix them up right. Customs in the works, we go all night. From the rarest grills to the two-towel finds. Each one's got a story burned in our minds. Action Figure Alliance, yeah, we're bringing the noise. Rolling deep, rolling heavy with my action toys. Collectors unite, we're breaking the chains. Plastic in hand, we're playing no games. We're playing no games. From legends to villains, yes, yeah, got them all. We're after legends and stories untold. Alliance forever till the end of the line. This is our mission, this is our pride. From legends to villains.
Hey,
What's going on?
what's happening, everybody? We got a nice crew starting it off
Oh, yeah.
already.
Yeah, got some folks in the chat. Appreciate y'all showing up, coming to hang out with us. And we're going to talk to Skeletron. We talked to Ben tonight from Skeletron, so we're going to have a great time. Looking forward to it. And
Yeah,
have a good time.
absolutely. It's going to be a good one. Yeah. Ben's got a lot to talk about tonight. We're going to grill him, and he's probably going to do some back and forth with us too, which will be good. So we're really looking forward to it. This is an exciting one. And hey, we got tons to go over, I think. So what do you think we get on with it?
Let's get started, man.
All right.
In a perfect world where legends collide, tiny heroes standing side by side, guardians of playtime in disguise. Action Figure Alliance on the rise. Join the alliance, come take a stand. With our many armies ruling the land. Hail to the heroes, molded with might. Action Figure Alliance, unite tonight.
I got to thinking before we get over to Ben, I got something else to show that I think it'll give the vibe. It'll get things going here. All right.
All right. What you got? Yeah.
Skeletron has landed.
That's so cool.
All right. What's up, Ben?
Hey guys.
Man, how's it going, man?
I'm doing solid, Thanks for the awesome intro. Really appreciate it.
Hey man, that thing was too cool not to show off.
Yeah. It's burning in the atmosphere. That's really cool.
Oh yeah, flying through the canyons and doing that and the ominous like 80s style synth music. I'm in. It was cool.
We had a good time with that one, and that's actually my partner at Skeletron, Marco Byrne, put together that soundtrack too. So he's
awesome.
He's the multi-talented Marco Byrne, as we call him.
That's cool, man.
Nice.
That's cool.
Loving the setup behind you too, man. All that stuff looks
cool.
Good.
Thank you so much. I've been just trying to get this set up real nice, and then ended up with a bunch of prototypes and test shots on the shelf, and then I was like, that looks kind of cool. I think I'll just let those sit for a minute. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those are ever so coveted by the guys that are really deep into this stuff.
Oh, I know. That's been part of my own journey
Really?
down the dark toy rabbit hole. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a good segue. When we have guests on the show, we like to learn a little bit about them before we kind of dig into, the very specific kind of topic that brings them here. Why don't you tell us about yourself and kind of how you got going down this action figure, robot, ominous, cool looking thing journey?
Yeah, it's been a long journey, and then probably a lot of our guests that are following us here that are Skeletron fans have probably heard it. But part of it, is just how awesome this community is. And one thing that I mentioned backstage to you guys, I wanted to mention is that it's been a little bit of actually for a lot of people it's been a really hard week already. We lost Aaron Dietrich of Roma Collectibles just several days back, and he was just a really wonderful human being and somebody that was a mainstay at all these conventions. I personally met Aaron at my first JoeCon in 2014, and he sold me my very first RoboSkull. That was one of the things that I had gone to JoeCon and wanted to pick up. So I picked up a Palatoy RoboSkull and never met the guy. And he was the most warm, relaxed, smiling. And I was really neurotic about it. He had two and I didn't know. I was checking out the decals and which one do I want? And this one's got a little of this, and he was just so gracious and just such a wonderful guy. And that ended up, it was striking actually. I remember I was like, I'm kind of being a little, a pain in the butt, trying to pick out which one I wanted. But that's really just I learned then over the last decade, like that's just who he was. He was a great person, always friendly, always smiling, quick to give somebody a deal, slip you a little, give you a little fireball shot, late at night. While we're hanging out talking about toys. And if you look around the internet, so many people just really love the guy, and he was diagnosed with cancer just 8 months ago, and it went fast, and we lost him. And so I just want to give him just acknowledge what a great person he's been, a great friend, great person in the community, and send a lot of love back to his wife Sarah, cousin Kenny, and all the people that were that were close to him and his family. So
I never got the pleasure to meet him, but if you see all the pictures, he's always smiling and happy.
Always.
Looked like he loved what he was doing. So,
yeah,
definitely
honestly,
missed by many.
The posts were all over Facebook. So, the community really liked the guy. He seemed to have touched a lot of people. I actually just put the GoFundMe for his family in chat. So, go, support them. Everybody's been having a hard time these last few years. And so, it sucks. I've had some recent losses that have been pretty hard, but, we gotta keep our heads up and keep moving forward because that's what those people would have wanted. But yeah.
Well said. And then I also have to mention that we lost Brian Camp, as a friend of ours, and he was actually the guy. My very first convention, I didn't know anybody. I walked into Assembly Required #1, and he was running the booth. And he was running the entry. So he was literally the first guy that I met, not knowing a soul, coming down to my first GI Joe show, which was in Des Moines, Iowa. And he was a great guy, and now gone far too soon as well.
I love to see the smile on your face when you remember that memory of the first time you met it, man. Like, you just kind of lit up about, hey, you were happy to.
Oh, it's we're just good people, and that's why ultimately that's why I'm here, is because of the warm welcome that I got when I didn't know anybody, and just met lifelong friends right out of the gate. So it's a great community that we have. So in honor of particularly Mr. Dietrich, I am. Salute to you. This is a look of his apple. The apple pie, moonshine he would bring, and to Mr. Camp as well.
Yep.
All right,
guys. So back to the toys. Back to what makes this community so great and brings us all together, right?
Hell yeah,
right?
Hell yeah. So again, tell us about your collecting, what got you into collecting? What have you been doing? How did you get
Yeah,
where
so
you are now?
I'll give the fast bullets. 2007, 25th anniversary on the shelf. Bam, I'm back in. So that's when I really got back in.
Nice.
And then just descended into madness from there. Met the wrong crowd. Met some people that were into prototypes, and just kind of kept going, getting deeper and deeper into the hobby. I'm a big Storm Shadow collector, so I started collecting Storm Shadow pre-production. That was really fun. Met a lot of great people doing that. Like just a whole nother level of the hunt, right? And making connections and meeting cool people. Fell in love, with the Robo Skull. I saw that online, and my jaw dropped. Palatoy stuff. You start to see all the cool stuff that was made in the United States, and then your eyes get open to like, oh God, there's even more from all over the world.
Yeah.
Check out. So
what's this Red Shadows thing? This is cool.
Yeah, and what's all that stuff, and even just like South American stuff and the crazy Japanese stuff. The card backs, and there's just so much great lore. But yeah, definitely definitely gravitated towards a lot of the stuff. The Battle Action Force stuff, and the Palatoy UK stuff, and that really, I got to credit some great people in the UK and Ireland who came over to the US and were doing panels and talking about it at JoeCons, like guys like David Tree, Chris McLeod, and then a couple of great British guys that really got people in the US excited about what this crazy kind of alternate universe in the UK. And then the Irishman, Brian Hickey, is a wonderful person, and Patty Lennon. Those guys also really kind of sucked me. Just a lot of meeting the wrong people, so you get sucked more and more into all this cool stuff.
Right.
And that led me to being really focused on GI Joe always, but then getting into more and more lines. I really loved the indie scene when I backed my first Kickstarter was Marauder. When they first came out, and then Boss Fight, and I just really loved what those guys. And I followed Boss Fight from Hasbro, because that whole team was the ones that were doing Pursuit of Cobra at the time for G.I. Joe, and I just love Pursuit of Cobra. I just love it. So yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell, until I decided that wouldn't it be cool if we could reimagine and do a Robo Skull that's an all new design that would be inspired by cool stuff that had come before in heavy metal, and just make it metal AF and make something really, really awesome. So that was an idea that I had. And then, it really just, it went from an idea to starting to talk to the right people. And I got really lucky, and the right people started saying yes to me right away. And then we just kept going, and here we are today. So it's been quite a journey.
Nice.
So, and it's not over yet.
No.
It continues.
So what is your background? Like, what were you able to, to bring that really, got this project up off the ground?
Oh, that's a really great question, and I don't really talk about my non-toy life very, but since you asked, I'm CEO of an office furniture manufacturing company. Okay. And so I've been just in business for a long time, running a business, and my work is primarily, it's everything ultimately, but I really have done a lot of focus on product design, and sales and marketing for the office furniture industry. So it's a completely different universe. I'm really into modern design, so I do a lot of really minimalist modern design. It's something that I love dearly, but in that whole profession, there's just no opportunity to make it's really off brand to do like a flying red skull.
Yeah.
So that was the thing, is to try, is to do something completely different. So I'm a business guy, and I do design work, and that's my background in a nutshell.
Well,
So what you're saying is, if I want an office desk that is a flying red skull, you could make that happen.
We haven't explored that. We haven't explored the mashup, and it's funny you mentioned that too, because a lot of people that know what I do, they're like, Ben, you got to do, you should be doing displays, toys. Like, that's the perfect mashup of everything. And of course, the joke is, I'm sure you guys have beautiful displays, so it clearly doesn't apply to you. But we've always said like the joke is like you get a $20,000 collection, and it's displayed on like in a $12 set of plastic bins, right? The totes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Your grandma's hand-me-down display cabinet.
yeah, but needless to say, I love great displays, and I love, I think that's one of the things that that I've really loved seeing that evolve over time, because I think people are, as we're getting, kind of, I guess a little bit older, right, and we're thinking about really how we're going to display this, and we all kind of have, as collectors, I think we all have those. I know I do. I have a bunch of totes, and you think about, oh, what someday I'm going to really, display this in a way that I'm really going to enjoy. Right. And so I think that, seeing more and more people realize that dream and be able to get to where they're really displaying things in ways that they can enjoy it every day is really, really fun to see.
All about that. I took to the ceiling recently with figures hanging from the ceiling, and
nice.
That's something I'll be showcasing soon. But there's just tons of ways to make your collection look good, and I think a good collection room is always evolving and changing as you gain new products and new things that you're into. I didn't have last year at this time, I didn't have any G.I. Joe 3.75. Now I have a whole rack, whole shelf, big shelf, 6 foot, 4 foot by 2 foot deep shelf full of G.I. Joe 3.75. So that's definitely been a great journey. And
that's awesome. And that's part of the fun of collecting, I think, too, is it's always good to, remember that your tastes are going to change. Like we kind of sometimes set a goal, right? Like I want all this or all that. And then sometimes along the way you go, you know what? Actually, now I'm more interested in this. So I totally agree with you, Trey. It's like, it's really good just to kind of go and evolve and see where, see where you end up. Right.
So whose dog?
That's
It's
mine.
not mine.
That's mine. She just let them outside, and they're out barking at something in the backyard.
Fantastic. That came through bright and clear. Good stuff, man. So, on the display front, I do think that having a good, display arrangement, lighting, furniture can really elevate and make you feel better and, give you that sense of pride and enjoy your figures more. So, yeah, man, make some cool display cabinets. Why not?
Yeah.
And I love to, like I said, though, like the market that I'm currently designing furniture for is like the super premium, like Manhattan high rise type of offices. So, so it's like so it'd be a nice challenge for me to like how to do the design I love in a way that's actually, that's like, viable for everybody, right? For the average Joe, but make it really, really beautiful. And that is a challenge because I'm a bit of a furniture snob, guys. I'm not gonna.
Do you like to have yours powered? I sell electrical, so I've sold plenty of furniture feed floor boxes to power.
Oh yeah, so. Yeah. Everybody's. I mean, in the office furniture industry right now, it's like you have to have a height adjustable desk, right? Like that's like we're at about a 99% rate of height adjustability for like private office open plan type stuff. So
right.
Okay. I'm gonna direct it back to toys.
yeah. That's the point. Office furniture, boring. Like let's get back to the toys.
I feel like you two could get into shop talk real quick.
Probably could, yeah.
So Ben, one of the things that I'm super curious about, I haven't really let too much loose about this, but I'm working on something in the background, so I'm super curious. What was it like to run this highly successful Kickstarter that you did?
Well, I think it's in multi parts, right? Like part one is like doing all the work for the setup, right? And then the public sees like that 30-day window of what happens, and the reality is nobody knows what's going to happen until you hit it. Like Kickstarters are fascinating, right? And there's so many variables, there's so many things that you really got to pay attention to. And then there's a certain amount of timing, I'm sure, and luck, and there's so many things. And then there's the post Kickstarter. Now it's time to get roll up your sleeves and deliver. And so the journey up to the point of launching the Kickstarter was great. Like I mentioned earlier, like everyone I got really lucky. People kept saying yes to me on the idea and really jumping on board. So I had a lot of just momentum of people saying yes, and just conversations. Like I was sitting having coffee and one morning thinking about who I wanted to do the packaging art, and I was thinking about one of my favorite metal bands, Manowar, and how awesome that heavy metal art was, and thinking about how metal this was going to be. And I was like, I wonder what Ken Kelly's up to, because he did like Kiss Destroyer, and he did my favorite Manowar album covers. And I'm just on my laptop, and I fish around on the internet, found a number, called it right there. Like I had the idea, just picked up the phone. I'm leaving a message on a old school answering machine,
Yeah.
and the guy picks up.
Oh, wow.
And we have a great conversation, and he says yes he's like, it's going to cost you, but hell yeah, I'm rocking and rolling. That sounds awesome. Let's fucking go. And so, and I was probably high for 2 weeks after that phone call, just based on that. So those were I just got really lucky, I think, having those kind of experiences where I just asked the people that I wanted, I reached out, and I was able to, and I was, and they said yes. So that's, and things aren't always that easy, so I got really lucky that way. And then I think, of course, I'm biased, because for me, the RoboSkull Mark II was the one thing that I really, really wanted to see get made, that I believe would never get made unless I did this project. And so that was really the impetus for me to start thinking about it. And yeah, I was totally inspired by like I already mentioned, Boss Fight. Troy McKee's a really good friend of mine, and he was talking about getting that O-ring line going. And then I had a really long conversation actually after Joe Fest with Chris Murray. I don't know if you guys probably haven't heard that name. Awesome guy, really good friend of mine, really a driving force behind the Joe Declassified group, and brings prototypes every year. And he had done he had gotten really far on a line called SK Omega. So like he'd talked to me and all that. So there's a lot of things coalescing in my brain that kind of, synthesize that this crazy idea that maybe I should make the thing that I would love to see get made.
Nice. I want to highlight this comment in the chat from Zakanin. The RoboSkull was my top toy of 2024, as it was for many of us. I've never experienced adulthood wonder until unboxing it. And I can kind of mirror that comment, that a lot of us unboxed this thing and was like, man, this is amazing.
And the art played a big portion of that. I mean, the fact that you just slathered art all over that box. And you had even the cool design where you kind of had that angled corner.
Yeah, with the skulls. And we love skulls here.
Yeah.
That was all cool, man. That was
all cool. Skulls. Thank you. Yeah, we really wanted every facet of that to be, to be really just a joy, and thank you for that comment that just came up. I appreciate it so much, because, obviously this, the project ran longer than we initially estimated to get it to market. But our fans have been amazing, and for us to be able to consistently, it's been so wonderful that the people that supported us are telling us it's their favorite toy of the year. Means a lot to us, and then to have people, a lot of toy reviewers are calling it the toy of the year, and the response has been just overwhelmingly, amazingly positive. And for us to have that be our, kind of our flagship thing hit as a new company, and for people to call it the best toy of the year, it's amazing and very much appreciated.
Yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, we appreciate having to be able to get stuff like that. That's definitely not something that a big company like a Hasbro or Mattel would necessarily go, oh yeah, that's cool, we'll sell a bunch of those. That's not an easy sale. I mean, it takes somebody that's inspired and, kind of has the history to it to bring it forth in, looking like this. I mean, you did a great job with it. By the way, I'm going to go ahead and switch over and show off the Kickstarter while we're kind of talking about it, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, while we were talking about reviews, this Saturday at 10:30 on Action Figure Alliance YouTube, we'll be releasing our 1/12 scale vehicles and rides list from our collection. So go check that out when it drops. And first real, just regular video going out in the world.
Yeah, that we're looking forward to that one. It's probably going to be clunky. It's probably going to be a little cringy, but we did
Come
our
laugh at
best.
us. It's okay.
We're learning,
Yeah.
So yeah, man. When you saw $610,000 come through, were you a little freaked out?
I was at that point. I honestly couldn't believe it. I think the thing that was most surprising was, I mean, the 600 we couldn't believe it because I think 100,000 of that came in the last, back half of the last day, and we were blown away by the opening was really what threw me for a loop because I had done. I wanted to be really pragmatic about it, and I felt like I'd done my research. I'd looked at other action figure Kickstarters and how many backers they had and what. So we did some estimates on, how many backers we think we could get and what kind of investment people would be willing to put in to back us. And I was really way wrong. I was like, I was hoping we could get to 250. I mean, that was kind of like our, if we can get that, we'll unlock that would be an amazingly successful Kickstarter project. And we did that, I think, in 48 hours, maybe, or something like that. So, So that really put us in a really exciting scramble mode to see what we could, it was think on your feet. Do we just shut it down, like as far as like stretch goals, or do we respond, or do we try to stay nimble and respond to the response that we're getting from people and keep the party going, so to speak. And that's what we did, and we added. I think we ended up with like 13 plus some like half stretch goals. So like it was like 13 and a half, 14 stretch goals. And I think we had 5 or 6 planned for the whole campaign initially. Oh, wow. So we were really, we added a lot and ultimately, that resulted in a lot, like the people that backed early, because we had to ratchet the price up. Otherwise, like, as we went a little bit, otherwise we wouldn't be able to keep adding stuff. The people that got in the earliest got insane deals, and then there were great deals, and then there were really good deals. So it was, everybody got everybody got a tremendous amount of value, for ultimately what ended up being a weight. And so we've been able to, ship figures all the way along the way. But the main course, was delayed further, and we're not done yet. We're still, those guys still get 6-inch figures coming their way from us. So
that's
us.
and so that was, that's another thing that we just, totally didn't get the response right. We misjudged that. And then even working with a factory that, we went back to them on everything during the Kickstarter and said, like, can you make this timeline? And ultimately, we believed that we could. They said, we were working with experienced people, and we were wrong. It was it ended up being too much. And then I think also there was a belief that, we were sort of over the worst of, kind of COVID delays, and we were coming out of it, and that things were going to run more smoothly, and that didn't exactly come to pass either. So there's there's multiple factors like there always are.
Sure.
And of course we're not going to ship a product that isn't tip top. I mean, that's, that's something we said from the beginning, like, hey, this is an estimate, and we will never compromise the quality of the product in favor of timing.
Well, and you didn't ghost people either. I mean, you've got tons of updates on the Kickstarter.
66 project updates on your website. That's a lot to be said for.
So we do an update. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, Trey. I appreciate that sentiment, and we do an update every month. I mean, that's what we do. So and backers are due for an update right now. So so it's time for us. We'll have an update to them soon for our next update. Our first. We had a lot of updates about, shipping RoboSkulls and stuff. We had a flurry of activity in November and in December. And so now it's time for January update.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, I'll tell you what really got me was going to Joe Fest, and we were walking around the booth and seeing the 6-inch figures in person. I came home and ordered it right away. And,
Gary and I were on the phone together going, are you getting this figure? How many of this are you getting? It was gone. It was bad.
Yeah. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the little battle scene that was set up behind the booth, which I think was mainly like the Marauder stuff.
Hmm.
It was also really cool looking, and we came home with some of the assassin drones, I think. So yeah, man, cool stuff. I do want to ask you though, another little bit of a detailed question. So your goal was $78,000.
Yes, yes.
That seems low from what I've been hearing other people. Maybe they're speaking with hyperbole, but like that seems cheap to be able to make something this big and involved.
Oh yeah, for sure. And $78,000 wouldn't have covered all the costs. Like we
Okay,
so this is the thing. Like as far as funding goals, that you set a goal based on what you need to proceed forward with the project, right?
Hmm.
right,
And so this is one of the things that people there's always like talk about this, right? But obviously I put a lot of money into it up front before to get ready and have a prototype and get all the artists and everything on board. So there's an investment that I made up front to make this, to get ready for a proper Kickstarter. And then when you evaluate what you want to send your fund, and I have lots of conversations with this about people, right? Because people are like, what do I set the funding goal at? And I think it's one of those things. It's almost like, here, I'll relate it this way, because maybe you guys will get this too. When you bid on something, a toy on eBay that you want,
Hmm.
and then
no,
it sells to somebody else for $1 more than what your top bid was.
You got
You
sniped.
go,
Yeah.
oh my god, I would have paid $1 more for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, then you should have bid it up to what your real. So that's kind of a mental exercise I tell people to do. Like, if you want to sell, like I need this much, and it's like, well, if you made $1,000 less than that on your Kickstarter and it failed, are you okay with that? You know what I mean? Like, is that what? And then they'd be like, oh gosh, no, I wish I would have. Because could you still? And then also balance that with, but also be realistic, because I think
Hmm.
that the thing that you also have to understand is it is going to cost more than you think it is.
Right.
So you got to look at all those kind of, you just got to look at those variables and be really thoughtful about it. And so, yeah, so I set a goal of $78,000 because that was what the commitment I needed from the community to say, I'm going to put more money into this to make it a reality. Because remember, this was my thing. Like, I really wanted to make this happen.
it's a
So
passion
I was
project.
going to
Yeah, man.
yeah, I wanted to put, I'm putting a lot of my own skin in the game, but I also, that's what's great about a Kickstarter. I don't want to make something that I think's awesome and then find out that nobody wants it. Like,
Right,
that's
right.
no fun. And so that's what we did. So I said, like, hey, if enough people in the community at that level want to do it, well, then that makes sense for me to proceed, and
okay,
I'll put the rest of the investment in to make this happen, right? Um, and then there's also stretch goals too, right? So if you go higher than that, it's like, awesome. Now we've got the funding, so that, like, this makes sense to continue to add things in a way where it can be, where it can work. But yeah, there's no the tooling alone was way more than $78,000, you guys. Like,
okay.
it was.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
something that I've seen, and sometimes they're all over the place. You see one figure where it's like a huge amount of money, or you see, a few
Hmm.
figures where it's next to nothing, and so I was, kind of curious the stance you took, and I think that's the most logical one.
Yeah, you just got to think it through, and everybody's in a different position too. Like you don't, the biggest thing is, don't overextend yourself, because we've all seen people that get themselves in
Yeah.
financial trouble because they want to do something cool, and it's like, we all do,
Absolutely.
but it's not. It ends up not being cool for
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
anyone.
Right.
So those are things, and yeah, you're right, Alan. Like, some people look at it and they think, okay, I need all the tooling costs paid for, I need the art, and I need to pay for all the unit cost, right? And if you do all that and you're not putting your own money in, like, that number gets really big,
Yeah.
or if you can't finance it, or so there's so many financial variables that go into that calculation. And ultimately it comes down to, one, I mean, you have to know what you're doing too. I mean, people can also just make mistakes, but
Mhm.
assuming you know what you're doing, it's how much risk are you willing to put on yourself versus asking the community to help you get there. So there's a balancing act there, because anybody should have their own skin in the game, and everybody's got a different level of how much skin they're able to put in the game, to get something off the ground. And it's again, like everything about a Kickstarter, it's a complex formula that has a lot of variables to it.
Absolutely. I mean, extremely complex, with everything that you've got involved in here. And, you're not only doing the big spaceship, you're doing figures. And not only doing figures, you're doing, multiple scales of figures. And then not only are you doing that, but you're doing add-ons for the figures. And when you when you brought this to life, I mean, Trey and I, and I think, a good portion of our audience are, 1/12 scale collectors.
Right.
But you went in and you kind of switched the game up, and it's not something that you see very often where people are making a vehicle like this, spaceship, ride, whatever you want to call it, where it's adaptable to being both, 1/18 or 4 inch and 1/12. Was that a plan from the beginning, or was that?
It was so yeah. It was a out of everything that happened, so many things, and not having like the design evolved of everything. But actually, I had the idea to do a multi-scale really early on, very early, because it was one of those things where I felt like this was going to be. Remember, in hindsight's 2020, but at the time, I'm like, this is such a weird niche thing, and I want to bring in as many people, both from a pragmatic standpoint, right? Like, hey, like it's more practical. If I can get more people to want to get the Robo Scroll, like that's just going to help us be able to get this thing done. And then also through the lens of like, I got a lot of friends that only collect 3 3/4 figures. I've got a lot of friends that are like 4-inch or die. I've got a lot of friends that have moved on to 6-inch, and I was like, I want to get all of you guys. Like,
Thank you for doing that.
Let's get everybody into a Robo Skull. Like, I want there to be something that's fun for everyone. And it was a different approach because, we talked about it at one point. We're like, hey, this is, having, even as stretch goals, having 3 scales, is that crazy? Like, are we getting, no one had ever done it before, and is it a good idea or not? So we had those conversations about, if it made sense, and ultimately, we thought I thought it did make sense because that's what we did.
Right.
Well, I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
Were you able to just take the smaller designs and kind of scale them up, or was that much more involved than that?
Well, we decided really early on. I had the idea to do a swappable suit really early in the process. So that was actually one of the first things that I injected into when we were talking about that idea existed before the actual the design of the Mark II existed. So it was like, hey, we're going to design this thing. It's going to be red and have a skull face. And that's really all we know about it, because we're going to do all new design. It's going to be badass and metal AF. And I have this idea where I want to put swappable seats in it so we can have everybody kind of come in and hopefully enjoy this product. And what was crazy, and I don't know if you go back and look, like, people were blown away by the swappable seats. It had actually never been done before. So that was a new idea, and I actually just a couple of weeks ago got in the mail the final patent. So I actually I have a utility patent on that concept.
Awesome.
For multi-scale swappable seats. So that was that was kind of fun too, to come in with an idea that was innovative, and and it's always fun to have those ideas where it's like everyone's like, well, what do you mean? Like, really? Like, a great idea that everybody goes, how did we never have that before? Like, those are great. I love those ideas.
Well, it also got me to buy a 3.75 figure yesterday, and I just can't bring myself to open it because the packaging looks so cool. So I put it in a clamshell. But
thank you.
Yeah, it's everything looks great on these figures. They're awesome. Hey, I did want to show this comment off from Patriot Force. We met Ryan and Gavin at Joe Fest, and they're going to be on the show not too far away from now. But he says Ben was one of the first people to motivate us to move from customs to manufacturing. We had a great conversation at Joe Fest a few years back, so just want to shout out.
Hey man, thank you so much for jumping on. That's really cool to hear from you. I know it's been a while since we caught up, so I hope everything is good at Patriot Force. Great guys.
Yeah. We're gonna have them on here in a little while, so they're gonna be on the show.
Yeah, we're soon. Looking forward to it.
I'm gonna have to put that one on my calendar so I can come.
Oh, good man. We'll be happy to have you.
Yeah.
I'll be in the. I'll comment. I'll be commenting.
You had better. We're going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
Right on.
So you've also this picture that I pulled up here, and this is a question that I was wanting to ask you about, and so I'm kind of glad that the picture came up. You'd mentioned, some compatibility with some other lines and things like that.
Yeah.
Not only that, but if you could speak to that, but what kinds of things might we be seeing from you in the future to make use of that, those little ports and things like that?
Yeah. So the ports. I'll pull. Actually, I'm gonna get here. I'm gonna back up here and grab my my Robo Skull, and I can find. Let's see here. I think I've actually got. Glad you brought
Oh,
it
he's
up.
got the
I've
glow
got
in the
a
dark
mess. Where
sticker.
is my Diaclone eye? I've got one around here somewhere. And where did I put? Oh, it's right over here.
He's got the glow in the dark stickers that I'm afraid to put on.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
so
that's
this
so
we'll
cool.
come back. Yeah, we'll come back to that too. But so we had this Diaclone Waruder pod that some of my buddies were really getting really into this this Diaclone stuff, and so we thought it'd be cool to have it swap out with the different ports and so you know what, honestly guys, this is one of those things that just kind of came about because of a joke with my buddies, because they were so into Diaclone and we were running jokes about 1/60th scale is like the new scale and everybody's got to get into the 1/60th scale Diaclone world. And so I knew some smart ass friend of mine was going to say, what about 1/60th Diaclone world? And I was going to have them. I was going to be like,
Yeah.
got it.
There it is.
And so that's what we did. We made it compatible with that as well.
Nice.
So
That's too cool.
That looks cool. I like the purple. That's
yeah, and this stuff, if you check it out, it's really, they got crazy stuff and it's pretty wild.
Well, you don't have any of the magnetic plates in the cockpit.
No, we don't have any magnets, not this time. So there's always somewhere, and we don't have, HasLab, Hasbro Classified is doing a great job with light up features and stuff too. So that's, that's always something that people ask about. And I think it's super cool for photography. And we actually talked about it and my thing is I've had things that have batteries and I want them on all the time and then they just die and I don't want to mess around. So again, just like
or they corrode and you're worried about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's, just trying to have as much play value as possible. That was the idea. It was really, twofold. Let's make this super fun so you could do all this crazy stuff and have the Skeletron go in the prisoner transport and do different wing configurations and different combos of blast effects. And then when you're not playing with it, it just looks amazing, right, on your shelf. And it's one of those pieces that people can't, not see or not comment on when they walk by and look at your shelf.
So you seem to have maybe averted purposefully or not. Part of my question was, what kind of things are you going to do with those?
What's coming in the future? So, I mean, Alan, that's a great question, and I cannot reveal what might come in the future. So we are working on, we're at the point now where we're working on what's next. We've got more things coming, and I'll say this, that the 6-inch, obviously the 6-inch collectors have been the most patient and gracious of all of this because that's what's left for us to deliver. So we will be coming out with those figures, of course, and finishing out the Kickstarter. But there will, after that, be some more O-ring figures, some more modern 4-inch figures, and we will be continuing on and supporting the 6-inch as well. So we really, we already know, based on what we were able to do with just pre-orders and interest and everybody supporting us so heavily, that we can take all three of those further, and we'll continue to do that. There's Mark jumping in with the Diaclone. Mark's my partner at Skeletron, and
what's up, Mark?
And he actually came down to Assembly Required. I took him down there for the first time, and he met a bunch of my friends, my G.I. Joe buddies, and they had buckets. Shout out to Nick Vreeland and Locke, who had like buckets of Diaclone in the room late at night. and Mark was just bananas over the Diaclone and up late playing with toys. So
yeah, some of the great things about some of the cons are the late night room swaps and stuff. We went to Retro Toy Con and we're selling toys out of the room and walking around to different people's stuff and seeing all that. Speaking of cons, what cons are y'all going to in 2025?
okay, so that's an awesome. Thank you for queuing me up on that, Trey, because we haven't announced this yet. So I'm going to give you guys the
exclusive.
I'm going to give you guys the exclusive on this. Is that our next show is going to be at ZoloCon.
Okay.
So we're going to be showing up at ZoloCon. It's at a casino in King of Prussia, PA, I believe, right outside of like close to New Jersey, PA area. So we're going to be hitting that. That's March 1st, I believe. So it's coming up really fast, and so we're going to be at that show, and I'm really excited. There's a lot of for Skull guys. I think ZoloCon is actually going to be like top skull ratio, toy to skull ratio. Might be at ZoloCon.
Yes!
I hear you.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. Yeah, we've been Trey and I have been trying to figure out, what conventions we're going to hit and things like that. And I definitely have ZoloCon on my list. It's a bit far for us, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe not in official capacity, but maybe I'll convince my wife to, go on a road trip. Let's do something fun, and then squeeze in, something like that. We'll see.
Do you get her? Did she go along with you on those excursions? To the conventions?
Yeah. Very frequently. Yeah. She's a total enabler.
Nice.
She's a collector in her own right.
She's got her own collections.
Oh yeah, she has her own stuff.
They got a hippo skull on their coffee table.
Oh,
A massive hippo skull.
I've never seen a hippo skull.
Well,
as a I was gonna say residential decoration, but of a decoration of any sort.
Yeah, you walk into our house and you would right first thing right there. She collects skulls, and Trey has to bring that one up. I generally bring it up when it comes to her collecting too, especially like it is a different thing. I mean, I had to carry that thing about a mile across a parking lot, and the looks that I got, from people that we were passing were just, okay, yeah, this is unusual. I get it.
Oh, that's hilarious. But that also sets you up. I feel like ZoloCon's the show then. Like we just talked about, so many skulls at are going to be at ZoloCon. I mean,
I might have to put it on the 26th list because I got something already on the 1st of March. So we'll maybe hit it next year.
Well,
awesome.
maybe I'll try to convince my wife. I'll say, Ben says.
There you go. Whatever. Hey, whatever. Pull all the cards you can. Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, any other shows in 2025?
We'll definitely be at Joe Fest. So
nice.
We'll definitely be there again. And then I would say that the rest of the year is TBD for us. So
right.
It's for us. It's both Mark and I have we both have regular gigs and then families and then Skeletron. So it gets to be a lot. And so as much as we'd love to go, hang out at toy shows all the time, right now, we're still we're not fully unleashed, I guess, to say like we can be at every show as much as we'd like to be. So
Joe Fest is a great one. We went to our first one last year, and I'm definitely going back. So
there's so many.
Joe Fest.
It's a great show, and there's a lot of great shows, and that's the challenge, right? There's so many great things happening, and so many great shows, and it's you can't possibly get to all of them.
As much as you'd love to, no chance for Toylanta.
I don't think we're gonna be able to do that this year. So I really wanted to because it's a show that as a collector, I've wanted to get down to check that show out for years, and the timing has just never quite worked out for me where I was able to do it. So I think I will say this: at some point, I'm going to be there, but it just the timing didn't unfortunately work out for this year.
All right.
Nice.
All right. Fair enough.
I will suggest Retro Toy Con. We went there. That was good as well. So if you're looking at a future
Retro
opportunity.
Toy, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Nice.
I wanted to get back to showing off this. Actually, that did not come up correctly. Hold on a second. Let me. Oh, that's yours. My bad. Screen sharing me. Okay, there we go.
Okay, computer.
Okay, computer.
He gives me a hard time about pulling up share stuff because I take a while.
Yeah, but I got it figured out. So,
Yep.
so what nerd that you're working with decided? You know what we need? We need to put this starship in Starfinder.
You just made me choke on my water.
Alan, you killed Ben, man. Come on.
I think I'm gonna lose my voice. I got water down my. One moment. That
I try.
I know that nerd. He's me. Oh boy, yeah. I lost my voice there for a second. I really got it down the wrong pipe. Okay.
Caught you off guard a little bit.
Oh, I don't know. It's on me. But yeah, I got water down the wrong pipe here. Yeah, like Mark says, you're talking to the nerd. That's me. No, I'm a Dungeons and Dragons guy. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was a kid. So I love I love role playing games, and so I just thought it'd be super super fun. I don't get to play them as much as I'd like to. I almost never get to play anymore. But my daughter, one of my daughters, God bless her, came home for Christmas and she got into some Dungeons and Dragons with some friends of hers at work, and she DM'd me with my Christmas present. She ran a one-shot Dungeons and Dragons session on Christmas.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so that was really cool. Especially considering that I've been trying to get them into Dungeons and Dragons my whole life and failed miserably, and so apparently, but so that was pretty cool. So yeah, I just thought it'd be really fun, and so I reached out to Ryan over at well, at first I reached out to over at Paizo, so the COO over at Paizo Publishing, and sorry guys, I'm just really trying to get my voice back here. But
you're fine, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, take a moment if you need to.
So, anyways, Eric Mona. I reached out to Eric Mona. Again, this is one of those things where I just like reach out to people. So he's the guy that he's a great guy at Pathfinder, and I'd actually seen he's a customizer. So he was actually customizing Marauder figures, and I was like, wait, is that the Eric Mona that I know? Because he was running Dungeon Magazine back when I was, back when Paizo was running that for Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, Alan, I'm going off on a way out on a roll.
Oh, dude, this is you're still well within my wheelhouse.
Okay,
I'm a big D&D nerd too. I played Pathfinder, I played Starfinder, I played D&D back to first edition. I've gone to conventions. I know exactly Paizo and the names you've been dropping so far. So you're all right, man.
Yeah. So Ryan, what's over at he was the One Direction podcast, and now he runs. I think he runs like the Voltron social media and stuff. Oh, he's a great guy. And so Eric suggested I talk to him, and it was weird because then we had a bunch of mutual friends, and again, it's like one of those small world things where it's like, like I'd never reached out to them, didn't know them, but then it ended up where we were like 1 degree separation from a lot of different people. And so I just said, hey guys, I had this idea. I thought it'd be super fun just during the Kickstarter to drop a role-playing promo PDF, like a free PDF, just as a fun thing to do. I just thought it was cool.
Oh, it's awesome. And that's thinking cool about picture, it, Savage Crucible did something similar.
Yeah, and I had actually, so I suggested that to Rob that he did. Did you? Yeah. Nice. So, and he thought it was a great idea, and he ran with it. So,
oh yeah, it is. It's super cool, and again, still in my wheelhouse. So when I started figuring out that, oh God, these cards are awesome, had to go on and get them all.
Well,
But
that's
also
good.
this
That's
artwork,
great.
man.
I'm so glad that you enjoyed that, because that was the conversation I had with Rob. I was like, dude, I did this because and it's a little bit of a stretch, right? Like, but it was, you could do Starfinder, which I've actually never played that. I always
Yeah.
played, I always played Pathfinder or Dungeons and Dragons, but I wanted to do it. I'm like, this is a layup for your line, dude. When you come out with it to do like, use the open gaming license and do stat these guys out.
Do some stat cards, yeah.
Yeah.
So who did this art, man? This is gorgeous.
Yeah, so that's a guy. His name's Angelos Cardinius, and found him on Instagram. I think is where we found him, and he's
Nice.
a Greek. He's a Greek guy, and he was doing really cool. We just really liked what he was doing, and I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, I think you'd be amazing to do some of this digital artwork." And so what we did was we actually sent him this file. The way he built this off of is the toy prototype model.
Nice.
So we sent him the models, and shout out to Marco Byrne, because he had to redecimate, reslice, reformat to get it in the right. There's always complexities when you're passing files back and forth, but we got it all up and running in a file that Angelos could use, and he just knocked it out of the park. I mean, he was like, this was actually, this image you're showing, this was the first image. He goes, I had this idea, I wanted to show you this as a first image. And I'm like, dude, you just melted my face off.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
So,
Metal AF for sure.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So, so we worked really closely with him and just did a whole bunch of really cool, some things we provided the art direction on, and then he did it. And then some things he came up with on his own, like this one, which maybe is the best one.
No, it's awesome.
It's awesome.
Nice.
So I think, Trey, are you wanting to talk about something a little closer to your nerd heart?
So while you and Alan kind of nerded out on the gaming thing, I want to nerd out on comics.
Do you have something shared to pull up?
Yeah, we can pull it up. I have it on the website already ready to go. So.
And now this is where I do the computer thing. Oh, he beat me to it. Good job.
All right. So I wanted to talk about this Battle Action Force Treasury Edition, volumes 1 through 3 bundle set. If you can look over this shoulder right here, it's a G.I. Joe Compendiums. I'm definitely getting this. So never really read any Battle Action Force, and it looks cool. Is there, tell me about this. Is just collecting the stuff. Talk a little about
so I can tell you about it, and I'll actually, if you want to come back to me, I can show you guys like the original. I'll kind of cue it up here with an example of this is the 80s. This is the 80s original Battle Action Force that came out in the UK. Okay, so this this is really, you can kind of tell it's oversized. It's not a typical comic book size.
Yeah.
So it's bigger than a comic book, but it's like super kind of pulpy, and it has a combination of color, and it has a combination, some color, and then some black and white. So like this is the Operation Bloodhound. I think I'm showing you here. And so what they did was they had these stories. And it was sort of like, I guess what I would equate it to, Trey, is like Marvel Comics Presents is a,
Sorry,
kind of
I
like
got some technical difficulties.
no worries.
Sorry. Literally, when you went to this scene, I got cut out. I couldn't see anything. So I was just making sure everything was rolling right. Sorry.
Well, you're back now, obviously, right?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay.
So this had multiple. This would have multiple different stories in it, all in one issue. So it was sort of like, what I think of it is like a UK equivalent to when I was growing up. Marvel Comics Presents would have like 4 stories in it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was always like, I really want the Wolverine story, and I don't
Mhm.
really, care about the man
the,
things
the
so much,
Colossus or
or
the
like,
Cyclops on the back or whatever else it
yeah, yeah.
was. Yeah.
And I always kind of, as a kid, I kind of hated them because it was like you get so much of a snippet of the story, right? And then you had to
Right.
wait for the next issue. So,
Mhm.
and so this was very much like that, where you had different stories. So it'd be like Johnny Red would be a story, and then Battle Action Force would be another story, and you had it in really small chunks. And these then are so it's really kind of hard to get the whole collection pulled together on these old issues, so you can just read it all. And Brian Hickey, who is an Irishman who's done some amazing toy books as well. And he also worked with Bob Breakin on My Palatoy Story, all about the history of Palatoy and all the toys that Bob worked on in the UK Palatoy. But Total Action Force was another book that he did, and it's great photography of the Palatoy Action Force universe. And he's just such an amazing person, immensely talented. And he had been working on trying to get the license to reprint these for quite a long time. Because he grew up reading these, and they're really, they're just, it's one of the, like, it's a passion for him, where he wants to see these, spread out to a wider audience. And it was tricky because there is, as is the case sometimes with these licensing things, and you hear about it more in like movies and stuff, or like cartoons, right? Where it's like, oh, the toy company owned the characters, but then the publisher of the cartoon owns the actual script and this piece of it. And that's what's going on here as well, where a company called Rebellion Publishing owned this, but they are like, we don't have the rights necessarily to all the characters that appear inside. And so Brian did a masterful job of getting everybody that needed to be together to get an authorized reprinting of this, which I'm really proud to be a part of. Brian reached out to me as a partner for some things that we could work together to make this project happen. And of course, I'm like, hell yes, I want to be a part of that. And the results are spectacular. So knowing that this is already it started out oversized, and so now what we've got
Really
is
oversized,
further
nice.
really over. I mean, this thing is big.
So is that shipped yet?
Yeah, these are in stock now.
Okay, awesome. I will be ordering one.
Awesome, man. Thank you. So we have a 3-volume set, and they're in stock right now. If you're watching, a US customer, go to Skeletron.com. We've got a $4 flat rate ship on this, which we have in all of our products at Skeletron.com. We've got a $4 flat rate shipping, so you can take advantage of that. And if you're in Europe or elsewhere, you can go to TotalToyBooks.com, and they can ship. Actually, they'll ship right from Ireland to you, so you can get a better ship rate, because we can only offer the $4 flat rate to US customers. So there's 2 locations right now where you can get these, and it'll ship immediately. So
we do this thing called Take My Money. Yeah, here. You're getting.
What we've got here, so again, it's a combination of black and white, so it's just like they were when they were first printed. So if they were black and white, they're black and white, and if they're color pages, they're color. But
awesome.
What Brian has done here is, and I know there's a lot of talk about like recolors, and reprints and doing a good job on this. Brian painstakingly restored every single image, and every single one of these had to been, because there's no digital files that existed that were cleaned up, and so he took and scanned every single issue and cleaned up every issue, and then recolored it in such a way where it's beautiful but also very faithful to what the originals would have wanted to be. And Rebellion is so impressed with his work on this, and the work that he's done, because from cover to cover on all 3 volumes, the restoration's flawless, because that was what, again, when it comes back to people that really care about the property so much and have the talent, which Brian does, So he
Right.
was able to really do an amazing job on these. So highly recommend this. And what's great about this is it really kind of feels like an alternate universe of G.I. Joe.
Mhm.
But it's a little different too, because these guys, they're heavy back in the day.
Yeah.
There's a lot of they're ripping it up. They're shooting guys. Guys aren't
Nice.
making it. They introduce a character, and then the character gets, you don't know what's going to happen. They might
Yeah.
make it, they might not. So
Nice.
So some really great stories in there that eventually then went in and actually just merged with Hasbro GI Joe characters down the road.
Nice.
Hey, Mikey.
So with that being the history and the past, is there any action going right now to bring the future, what you have now, these characters, into print or any kind of news stories coming?
Yeah, so right now what we've got that we can announce is just that this project is complete and it's in stock and ready to go. And so I'm not gonna, I don't need to be, like too sneaky about it. Of course we want to continue this on because there's some great stories that actually do the transition from these characters like Quarrel and these characters, and actually you can see in the final issues they had some of that we got published. They were using characters that were gung ho, and then they changed them,
To be, yeah.
yeah. So that's really fun. But we'd love to finish it out, and so that's we'll see if that ends up being a possibility. There's a really great transition that happened. I think fascinating. From a storytelling perspective that they did back in the 80s for the kids, which was they took these characters that they were following, and then for pragmatic reasons, Palatoy decided just to license the GI Joe stuff, right? Like take the molds and just bring it all over,
Right.
And that's where we got some of those, you got some of these cool reuse in different ways.
Right.
I think the Cobra Commander being repainted as Red Laser is probably the most brilliant repaint of all time.
Right.
Check that one out if you're not familiar with that one. But then they just eventually decided that it made more sense just to bring the characters over just as they existed in the U.S. And what they did was they ran this whole thing where they talked about the demise of all of these characters, the enemy characters from Palatoy's Action Force, and the rise of Cobra. So they actually told a story. They treated the kids with enough respect where they were like, no, we got to explain this to the fans. How are we going to convert them over to the new act, to that GI Joe Action Force version of GI Joe, which is pretty cool that they went
That's very cool.
that level to write a whole story and do that as a transition. I think it's a really neat piece of history.
I mean, it's treating their audience like they're mature and
Right.
kind of understand what's going on behind the scenes, but giving it a nice segue. So
Yeah, exactly.
that's cool. Trey, did you
I will
have
say
more stuff you were sharing?
What's that?
Did you have more stuff you were sharing?
No, I just wanted to show that off. But
Okay.
what I wanted to say really was that I'm invested in figures if there's a story behind them. So to have something that ties into stuff, I'm always buying something here or there. I got to figure, they do comics. All right, let me grab that and read up on those characters, and then I'm maybe a little bit more invested in them than just saying, "Oh, that's really cool." So to me, I love a story behind a character, and I would love to see something with these guys in it. So,
Trey, I hear you loud and clear, brother.
and if you need any help with any of that, I'm your dude.
Oh, I'm sure you can offer all the help he'd be willing to take and more. Same,
Awesome.
man.
I appreciate that,
Dude. So much that we've covered already, but is there anything that you feel like you want to talk about that we haven't gone over yet?
Oh, I appreciate you guys giving me a chance to talk about those books, because I really think that they're so fantastic, and for anybody that has even a passing interest in comic books, I think that they're phenomenal, and they're an amazing piece of history that
Nice.
that I would invite you guys to grab. And other than that, guys, like I don't have an agenda. I love talking about toys. So if you guys want to talk about, like what's on your mind, like what else, what else is new and different. There's just so much cool stuff coming out. It's overwhelming,
Absolutely.
Well, with that, you want to go into some new hotness?
Let's do it, man.
Yeah.
Well, first off, let's hop back here so we can do it properly. So, New Hotness is our segment where we just kind of go over some of the stuff that we've recently picked up, kind of since we've last talked about it. So, if you've got some stuff that you wanted to show off or anything like that,
yeah, I'm gonna show something I picked up recently, and I apologize because it's one of a kind. But I saw Mikey was on, and I actually had it right here.
All right, hold on. We got to do this right.
Okay. Okay. Is this?
All right, and then let's come on over here so we can see you.
All right. Okay, so here's what we got. I got a custom figure that I picked up at Assembly Required, 6 weeks ago in November. Okay, so I picked this guy up in November. It's a custom by Mikey Kukovic over at JMK Custom Works.
Nice.
And this was he's just in the chat, and I had it right here, so that's perfect. Hopefully he's still hanging out. And this was actually a fundraiser for our friend Aaron Dietrich, who we talked about at the front of the show, who just passed away. So we there was a fundraiser that was put together, which was really awesome. Here we got the Errands of the Universe, it was called, which is really kind of a fun spin on that. And then Mikey had done this really cool Yeti type character that is a hunter, and I don't know how to do this properly, guys. I'm gonna try to get this right there. Oh yeah, there it is.
Oh, looks great.
There's a head sculpt. That's a Dietrich head sculpt right there. And I think that came from, I might be wrong, but I'm almost certain it came from Rage and Spoon, our buddy Rage and Spoon.
Right.
And maybe Mike can correct me. So Yeti Hunter. He's the Yeti Hunter. That's what he is.
That's also custom.
And I just thought it was too cool. I was like, it's too cool. So I'm gonna bid this guy up and take him home.
Oh, so that's awesome.
Thanks, Mikey, for donating that. So that was something he created. Mikey created that, just to donate completely to the fundraiser for Aaron, to help him with his treatment of cancer and everything going on. So okay, good. I got the spoon scan right on the head sculpt. But this guy's badass. He's really badass. So nice.
It looks
nice
cool.
job, Mikey. And
good job, Mikey. That's awesome.
So if you like this guy and you wanna do your own, or do your own head sculpt, another one just like it, whatever, hit up Mikey over at JMK Custom Works, and he's phenomenal. He's doing work for some professional work for paint masters for various toy companies and stuff.
Nice.
And he's a good guy. So that was a recent one that I got. I've got all kinds of other stuff, but I don't really have it at my fingertips. Oh, here's, I guess, real quick, I'll zoom in on this guy. That's a 6-incher wolf.
Yeah.
So that's coming your way soon, guys.
Not soon enough, but man,
not soon enough. Don't I know it? Don't I know
eager.
it? So he's coming. That'll be part of our update. Coming soon. We got. I guess I'll do two more here. I got my ghost figure.
That thing looks cool because you can't see through that's so awesome. Yeah.
This invisibility shield. I'm gonna tell you guys, when they were telling me about this, I was like, that sounds cool, but like, is it really gonna like it's one of those things, like, are you gonna be able to pull it off?
Yeah.
And they totally pulled it off. And what I love about it is it's like one of those fun gimmicks that would totally, like, the technology existed in the 80s. So it actually, it's a new thing that totally could have come right out of 1985. And I love that about it. Everything about this is so on point for a retro, for people that want that nostalgia, want to hit that nostalgia just 100%, but get something new. So I love this figure. I love what the Grindstone guys are doing. And obviously they were a partner for us to get our O-ring out as well. So
please tell me that's coming in a 6-inch form, because I'm probably going to buy the 3 3/4, but I'm getting it in 6-inch hopefully.
All right. I love it. I love it. And by the way, you could actually get this. So this is a shameless plug, it turns out, because this also is in stock at skeletron.com. So you guys, so you can just go to skeletron.com and pick that up. So we're carrying that for those guys too, along with Call Sign Lombo comic book.
Mm-hmm.
That's available as well. So yeah, and yeah, that's Mikey. So Mikey's dad, John and Troy are Grindstone Toys. So those guys
Nice.
have this line. So it's literally a big, it's just a big happy family.
It is, man. It is. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then I guess this is a fun one. I'm just gonna throw this out because it's purple. So I'm doing purple today, purple theme, and completely, something completely different. This is 9 to 5 Warriors.
9 to 5. Okay.
9 to 5 Warriors.
Nice.
And his color match is pretty good with Ghost, as it turns out.
Yeah.
And this is Brandon Braswell, and this is a dream of his to launch his toy line, and he pulled it off. And he's a great guy, and I love just so passionate about everything he's doing, and so just a fun little action figure. This is a mutant eraser, so guy turned into
with a big old stogie.
Yeah, and he's got silly stuff like a pen cap for his quiver.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's like a silly concept, but it's super fun, and it's great. So
that's awesome.
That's what's on my desk right here. So we'll run with that. What do you guys got?
Hey man, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Trey, are you ready?
Yeah.
You want to do desk cam, right?
No.
Okay, just spotlight.
Show it all.
All right.
Show it all. So I have a customer that's probably about 30 minutes from me down in Sanford, North Carolina. So yesterday I went and did a sales call, did some stuff, and went to Hero Source Toys and Collectibles, which is in Sanford. And that's John, who used to be on Geek Dad Life with him. But I did pick this up at Hero Source, so I couldn't pass it up. I almost bought another version, and I'll probably go back and grab a couple more, or grab them from the website. Do like to try to support local toy stores as well. So
love that
stuff. So this one looks cool, and I know this is a homage to one of your friends. Is also passed. This is Gary Goggles. Is that correct?
That's right. So Gary was one of the first people I met in the community, and he's the one that I will say is largely responsible. I will blame him for taking me down that prototype pre-production path, that dark path. And we lost him, almost 10 years ago, I think it's been now, and hugely influential to the point of, even Mark Weber, when he was at Hasbro, and Daryl they did a G.I. Joe figure for him, Sightline, right, that came out in tribute. He was such a force in nature at the time in the G.I. Joe community. And that guy was amazing. He was a weirdo. He was a lot of things. He was a character.
Well, that's interesting to know, because 2 nights ago I bought a Sightline figure on Whatnot.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
And yeah, and then he got another figure, like the declassified guys made an O-ring figure of Sightline too, which is really cool, that they gave away for free at JoeCon one year. But it wasn't enough. I wanted to do a figure to recognize him as well. And actually the proceeds from, the net proceeds from that go directly to Gary's family on that figure.
That's so awesome. You do stuff like that, man. That's awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
But while at Hero Source, I also picked up this guy. I could not pass up on the Saw Viper. And
nice. Such a cool figure.
And I haven't gotten mine. I'm waiting, not so patiently.
He said he had some there, and John was like, "Hey, I got Saw Vipers." It's like, I missed them. I'll buy one right now. So I'm gonna have a couple of these in the collection, but always love that.
I got a question for you on that. I got a question for you on Saw Viper. Okay, since you're a comic book guy. Because I was getting G.I. Joe comics at the time, and the whole Saw Viper is the guy that gets to kill the G.I. Joes in the pit and kills. Was that still hits me as weird. Why was that the guy that Larry picked that to like it's such a weird setup and a weird story to me.
Tomax and Zaymont were around that in that issue, if I'm not mistaken, and I think it was like, hey, I want somebody who's not a main character that could be like just brutal. I mean, and this guy with a big saw weapon just laying into everybody. That's an emotional issue. I mean, there's a lot of emotion in that with Quick Kick and Doc and all those guys. So. Man, now you make me want to go back and read that, which I can because I got the compendium right there. So I got all the issues too.
I got that compendium too. It's just, but I haven't cracked it open. I just unboxed.
Did you do Cobra or G.I. Joe?
I did. Gosh, I did Cobra.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a Joe. It's called G.I. Joe. I had to go original.
Yeah, now I'm like questioning it because I totally just like, pulled it out of the box and put it and set it aside and barely looked at it.
And so I really only have one other thing, and that is this. I got the Robin Toys CAG set. So I was tracking this, and it just kind of stopped, and I thought it was stuck in China, but it just showed up yesterday. So I took some time after Figure Fight Club, being on there talking to those guys for a little bit, and put the CAG set on.
So what's included? Well, tell me what's it. I'm not familiar with this.
So this is the CAG set. So the McFarlane Batmobile, 89 Batmobile, came with a canopy that is out of reach at the moment. But the canopy was gray, and it was a little bit lower in height. So the CAG set is this canopy, this complete canopy, and it is raised a little bit here, and it's a black matte color, so it matches the rest of the vehicle. And then there's the gas caps on the side, and then it's the guns, which sit down in that groove, and they don't really click on, but they fit just perfect.
Nice snug fit.
So it's the things that were left off. It's the accessories that you wanted that you didn't get. And it's like a $20 set you can get at Robin Toys and enhance the 89 Batmobile. I love Batman 89. And, so now I didn't have to buy the other one to get what I wanted. I could upgrade the one I had. And I love stuff like that.
Yeah, and Ace called it the CAG set because canopy and guns.
Right.
There it is.
Yeah. And then one other thing I'll show off, just because I was messing around with selling some DC Multiverse, and I had a Grifter figure body that I was going to sell and whatnot. So I just took his head off, and I ended up taking a Valiverse Action Force Sarge and made myself a Grifter in a more accurate scale. So
that's a nice one, dude.
Yeah,
it's just a quick kit bash, but it works. And added the 50 cal or the Desert Eagle pistols, and but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go over to my desk cam because obvious reasons.
Oh, look at that thing.
Yeah. So that's not a recent one. He's just sitting in there in the background and, give me the flavor for this episode. But the first thing I'll show up is I got this
Nice
Ninian Warrior, I think, something along those lines from Mythic Legions. Actually really cool. The colors are kind of all over the place, but the sculpt, man, is top notch, and the colors somehow make it work.
That looks so cool, dude. I saw that one, and is it sold out already? Can you still get that guy, or is it like gone?
That's a good question. It came back in stock, and that's when I got mine, was the normal in-stock sale. So you'd have to check, but I got an extra one if you're in dire need.
Oh, that's very kind of you. I'll have to check it out because that one looks super cool.
Yeah. I also got this, which has been a joy to play with. So this is Devil's Toys. The figure is called Numenos. And so obviously soft goods, kind of like a cyber samurai, which is, too cool for school, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I couldn't agree more, man. I
love that black and red and gray, man. It looks
color scheme, cyber katanas. This thing's hitting all my. This is hitting all.
Yeah,
the things I love.
checking all the boxes, man.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a damn cool figure. You might see maybe us do a review on that guy. Um, this guy just came in today. Joy
Nice.
Toy Titus from Space Marine 2, the video game. So this is a new line that I've been getting into, and this is actually 1/18 scale.
But he's giant. He's just
So,
a
yeah.
giant, he's a giant 1/18 scale guy.
You put
Look
him
at
next
us,
to-
our 1/12 collectors. We're buying 1/18 scale. You know, it's
Yep. What's
Get-
happening?
get-
What's happening? Yeah. So he's a big boy in lore, and looks like a cool figure. I just opened him a little while ago, so I haven't really had a chance to dig in too far. But yet, I played the first video game, loved the hell out of it. Getting ready to play the second one soon, and man, cool figure.
So Alan, did you play Warhammer miniatures at all ever?
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
I've played. Man, my nerd goes deep.
he's got an army, man.
Yeah, currently I've got a ton of Tyranids.
Okay.
I really enjoy the bugs, the Xenos, and I mean they're when it comes right down to it, they're going to be the winners. Overall, everybody's going to get eaten.
So just to make sure I got it right, the Tyranids, like, is that one where McFarlane did? That's the multi-arm creepy guy. Is that
Yes.
a Tyranid?
Yes.
I bought that figure because it was so cool. Like I don't do Warhammer, but I bought two Warhammer. I thought I only had one, but I actually have two. Yeah.
Yeah, so they're kind of xenomorphish from Alien. Maybe a little bit sharper, pointier, and there's billions of them or trillions of them. Yeah. I also got it's been a busy couple of weeks.
Oh man.
And I mean the box is just covered in art, which is really cool. So this is another video, and the reason that he's still in the box is we might do a little video about this guy here soon.
Man, I hope I get my shipping notifications soon.
I don't know if I can wait that long, man. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then last and definitely not least, and I hate showing just boxes, but I'm going to with this one. Let me actually get this out and get this ready to show because it's really pretty. Apologies, I didn't have this one ready. I wasn't thinking we were going to get this far. This is not going to show up on camera very well, is it? This is the box, anyway, for the InArt 1/6 scale Paul Atreides figure from Dune, from the new Dune movie. So I've never had an art figure before. So this actually has like rooted hair, real leather, quality materials on him. I can't wait to get him open. He just showed up today too. So
Nice.
it was a busy one. I hit the trifecta today, everybody. I had FedEx, UPS, and USPS. I win. The hat trick.
TS pile of loot ship, so that means all the stuff that's going to come into stock for us will come around, because that always
true.
happens to me. I ship my pile of loot and then all the other stuff comes in.
Yep. So that was that was my new hotness. There was quite a bit,
Nice.
and
That's some hotness, man. I like that. That's good stuff. You're a problem. I shouldn't be seeing that stuff, Alan. That's showing cool stuff.
And so just so you know, I am making do by putting the Elite
Praetorian.
or the Praetorian from Valaverse in there.
Sure.
It's in mine too.
It's a perfect fit. He looks awesome in there. I actually have some other figures that I think we're going to go well with that too. There was a Mortal Kombat guy from Storm Collectibles. Gosh, I forget his name. If Abby's in chat, he'll come out with it real quick. But looks like he's going to go real well with it. So I'm building a whole red and black robot, kind of
Rock
army.
on. Yeah, I've seen some really good Cosmic Legions figures that I don't have yet. I have some Cosmic Legions, but not the one I want to put in. And then, since I was doing custom shout-outs, I guess, I'm going to do one more.
Okay.
This is a great figure that was a gift from a 1/12 scale. So this is a custom Red
Nice.
Wolf figure that there was a gift to me by my buddy Aaron Ringer over at Midwest Vintage Toys, and it was customized by Jonathan Kershak is his name, and he's an amazing customizer, and one of the coolest gifts I've ever gotten. But a really
It's awesome.
really
Yeah, that
awesome.
looks good, man. Yeah,
Oh,
that's-
dude, it's amazing. So this guy's gonna be, this is a good 6-inch pilot for me for the time being. Other than obviously what I don't want to what's coming.
Yeah.
Got to just be like, oh yeah, there's this little bit more on the way. Rub it in.
Hey, Ben, there was a question in the chat, and I want to see what you thought of this. What is the rumor about you and Bobby Valla discussed doing a Red Shadows figure, or he wanted to do one but ended up with Crimson Shadows instead? Is there anything about that?
No, I don't think
First
so.
time.
I mean, my recollection is that he had done because he was doing like a Crimson. I think he was doing like a Crimson Shadow army builder at one point, and I think he decided not to do it. So I think he had showed it at one point, but I mean, this is like going back. This is several years ago. So,
Right.
So yeah, I don't remember what he had to say about it. So yeah, it would have to be that'd be a question for him. But it's got I don't know.
No way.
Yeah,
No way.
I hadn't heard anything about it, but I'm an Action Force collector too, so
And yeah, man, we can't wait to get more proper stuff to go with the Skeletron. So get us those 6-inch figures. Get to working on some new stuff, man.
We're on it. We're on all of that. And again, I appreciate everybody's patience for us being late on this stuff, and everybody's been super gracious. And I think also I've heard a lot from people who are actually enjoying. The people that are looking at the silver lining is we're continuing to ship things out in phases, and so it's kind of a instead of it all at once, it's like we're going to continue to update along the way until it's all done. So I appreciate everybody being so gracious. We really have the best fans. It's been amazing how awesome everybody's been, and everybody's been so happy with the final product, of course, too. So getting the Robo Skull out was great, and everybody's loving it. So we're looking forward to getting those again. The most patient 6-inch collectors to get that out there. So
that's all right, man. With what you brought us so far, we can only look forward to it. I think it's going to be awesome. So. But dude, we're kind of getting to that time. You have been an awesome guest, super gracious. I love the fact that you were like, yeah, let's get into showing off some stuff that we bought. That was really cool, and you've put up with tons of questions from us. But man, we are super blessed to have been able to have you on and spend this time with you. We want to say we appreciate it again. And, man, when you get to going with some new stuff and you want to get to talking about it, come on back.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you. That's you're too kind. You guys are too kind. Thank you for the invitation. It's fun talking to you guys. I love toys. That's why we're here.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Exactly. We appreciate it again. And with that, we'll see you later, buddy. Thanks.
Right, thanks, Ben.
Have a great night.
You too.
Later.
Yeah, I just had to play that again. That was too cool. I mean, and plus it was a good outro for him. So
yeah.
But everybody, that was pretty much our show. Ben was a great guest. So everybody, go hit up Skeletron.com.
Yep.
Show them the support that they deserve. Honestly, at this point, that was a lot of fun, man.
It was. And Ben's awesome to talk to. I look forward to seeing him in person at Joe Fest and seeing what else Skeletron's going to have in the future. So, comics, toys, we're looking forward to it. So,
oh yeah, can't wait.
And also want to say, if you get a chance to go over to Roma Collectibles shop and support them and the GoFundMe page, which we have earlier in the video.
Yeah,
But,
I put that in chat. I'll
yeah.
take that up real quick and put that in once again.
Yeah.
Here we go. Yeah, so this is again to help support his family, and show the love from the community there. Definitely deserved.
Right.
Awesome.
And with that, we'll see y'all next week.
Yeah, man. We'll catch you guys later. Be cool and join the Alliance.
Yep. Peace.
See ya.
Yeah, we were on a mission, got my crew at my side. Scouring the shells, we're down for the ride. Plastic warriors all lined up tight. From the comic shop counters to the late night site. It's the thrill of the hunt, gotta make it mine. I'm out here searching, yeah, taking my time. I'll flip every aisle, don't care what it takes. For that rare chase piece, I'm raising the stakes. Action Figure Alliance, yeah, we're bringing the noise. Rolling deep, rolling heavy with my action toys.